Welcome back to another 3-episode review. This time, I may be a good receptionist, but I will solo any boss to clock out on time. We have the synopsis. Alina Clover signed up to be a receptionist for the Adventurers Guild, thinking it would be her ticket to a good life. Unfortunately, her dream gig turns into an overtime nightmare whenever adventurers get stuck clearing a dungeon. To save herself from paperwork, Alina takes to beating down monsters herself to solve the problem. Now she just needs to keep her activities a secret. Now this is a comedy, action, fantasy. It is mostly comedy and action, or equal parts, I would even say. So yeah, as the synopsis says, we have this girl who is a receptionist, and whenever people get stuck and not beat a boss, in this case, she has to do overwork. Why? I don't really remember why she has to do overwork. She has to do some extra paperwork. That is the whole part. She has to do paperwork, and she has to do that outside her normal working hours, which means overtime. So she then goes in, beats the boss, and now she doesn't have to do the extra paperwork. Done. She can now be happy in her receptionist world. Now, sadly, she gets discovered, and now she gets bothered a little bit by some pesky guy. I do not really. So comedy can always be hit and miss. I don't really have much against it. The style is a little bit strange. It's a little bit. You have to get accustomed to that. Let's say it is very round. It has like a little bit childish proportion face-wise. The action was fine. The comedy, I would say, is also fine. There are some questionable choices in regards to why we do stuff. So the main part is she's a receptionist because it is a safe job. Fine. She did get a skill, which is very powerful, which she uses to defeat the boss. Which means she could be an adventurer, probably making a lot more money. Naturally, it is not as safe, but if she works as an adventurer for quite a bit of time, she probably can save enough money to not have to worry about money anymore, and then follow whatever she wants to do. We also get in an episode that she mortgaged a house. So she bought a house, has a mortgage on it, and she only got that house because she was a guild receptionist, or she got the mortgage because she was a guild receptionist, which allowed her to get a house. If she was an adventurer, made a lot of money, she could have just bought the house, but fair enough. Then we get like one of the big first bad guys, not big, but first bad guys, who's like, he got slighted a little bit. And he was his pride was wounded, so he was like, okay, I'm going to raise this whole city, which is like, why? What is this? This went from 0 to 100 real quick, okay. And we got another bad guy who's like, oh yeah, I need to do some shady stuff, and it's like, all that for the off chance to get something in return. I don't want to be too specific here. And it's all like, why? Her reasoning doesn't really work, in my opinion. The reasoning of the bad guys, in quotation marks, they are not, doesn't really work. I do understand. We get a little bit of an insight why she is not really willing to be an adventurer, because she had some past experiences which more or less put her off the adventure path, also the skill, she only got that for a little bit of time. She didn't start with that skill. But overall, the whole job doesn't really seem to work fine. One of the episodes, she had to do overtime to do paperwork, even though there was not really a big boss or so that was responsible. It was like the boss was like, hey, all this paperwork has to be done today. Have fun. And she's also doing it alone. There's some parts that are questionable. If you can look over that, I mean, you have some action, you have some comedy. We will see how good it gets. If we get some more deeper story or some real cool action scenes, we will have to see. At the moment, user scores at 7. I'm also at like a 7.